we'll go over here and okay, so what I was saying is I try to focus on uh, gear that I think every photographer needs as a beginning photographer, just getting started. You know, tripods, lens filters, uh, camera bags. These are things I use, you know, on a regular basis. These are the bare essentials for any photographer. And there's a lot of other accessories out there that I think, you know, are helpful. You know, battery chargers, you know, spare batteries, things like that. And that can be a little spotty, but oh, and then one other thing, flashes. Flash is also uh, is very, very important. Okay. Uh, And then Mr. Joe Black says, that does sound a bit better. Perhaps attach it to where your shirt is buttoned. Okay. Hopefully this is okay. Uh, all right, so I'm just going to pull out a few camera deals first. You know, this has been on sale for a while at this price point. And, you know, if you get the OM1 Mark II with the 12 to 40 f 2.8 Pro lens, this is like bread and butter for most professional photographers. And uh, I would say, you know, if you're only going to buy one camera and you want to be in the Micro Four Thirds system, this is the very best in my opinion. And there's so many things you can do with this camera. It's a camera. I have the Mark One, but you know the Mark II improves on the Mark One. You know, in some relatively significant ways, more towards the sports action wildlife photographer with the bigger buffer and slightly better autofocus. It's very hard to measure that. But the buffering and the larger buffer is a big deal. And you know, the Mark Ones you're gonna have to buy used now. So if you want to get a brand new OM1 with warranty and a little better performance, the OM1 Mark II is the only game in town. And I've been using my OM1 both personally and professionally for everything. Okay, so of course, sports action wildlife birding. You know, I do a lot of, but I also use it for my professional work and commercial real estate. I've also done many events with this combination, and you know, it just performs flawlessly. And then, of course, we have all of the additional features that give you so much versatility for any kind of photography that you want to do. The in-camera focus stacking, the high-res shot mode, the you know, live comp, and you know the even the bulb mode. They have a live bulb mode which lets you see the exposure build. Uh, there's a lot of more advanced computational features that you're going to really appreciate. The graduated ND filter, the live ND filter. You know, this makes going out with your camera. Uh, it's such a flexible camera. It's like a Swiss Army knife of camera systems that, and this camera has so many features that no other system offers. And it, you know, the, and that's why I'm such a big fan of the OM1. Uh, and I can't recommend this highly enough. If you're going to have one camera, because OM system offers a lot of different cameras. The OM3, of course, the OM5 Mark II, and then some of the pens I think are still available. But this is the one to get of all the systems, and I would take this over just about any other DSLR style camera. You know, because I have a choice of, like, I could buy any camera I want, you know, within reason. I'm not going to buy a Hasselblad, but you know, I have a Sony A7R5, I have a Canon R8, I have the Fujifilm XH2, and um, and of course I've tried the Nikons, and time and time again, the camera I pick up the most is one of my OM system cameras, typically the OM3, which I'll talk about next. But and it's because of the flexibility and the everything that I can do with that camera that I can't do in other camera systems easily. This is just you know, and then of course the weather sealing and the durability is unparalleled. So, and the ergonomics, you know, this camera is one of the best best ergonomic cameras, lots of buttons and dials, all programmable. And as a photographer, whether you're just starting out or you're an advanced professional, this camera does it all. Okay, and then let me just talk about the OM3 real quick, because this is my favorite camera by far. It's kind of buried down here because it's been on sale for a while. The OM3 with the 12 to 45 for $19.99. This is a steal. This camera will do just about everything the OM1 Mark II will do, save for, it has a little smaller buffer. But other than that, this will do everything the OM1 Mark II will do. But obviously, you choose this camera for the aesthetics and the look, right? If you want pure functionality, the OM1 Mark II is the better choice. But if you want a little flair, a little style in your photography, if you need, this camera, whoops, let me just show you mine. This camera it's just a dream for me to use. And, it doesn't have dual card slots. It doesn't have the high-res EVF of the OM1 Mark II. These are relatively minor compromises as a photographer. As a professional photographer, OM1 Mark II. But as an enthusiast, I can't tell you how many people have bought this camera, influencers and real people alike, that just fell in love with this camera after they actually started using it and taking it out. And this is the camera they often pick up the most, like myself, over, say, the OM1. And I got a little extra grip for it because I do like to use it sometimes for birding and wildlife as well. And this grip gives a little bit more better handling for that kind of thing. But yeah, and the one thing this camera has that none of the other OM system cameras have is the creative dial. And I do access this time to time. I do like to use the art filters and some of the film simulations that they have, like the Vintage 1 and 2. So if you like that straight out of camera kind of look, there's a lot of choices here, and you can also customize those colors with this color wheel, or with the color wheel in the menu. And then of course for black and white photography, it's also really awesome. A lot of modes there for you can add a little grain, you can do vignetting, and then finally, it has all of the same computational features that you'll find in the OM1 Mark II. Live ND, grad ND, high-res shot, focus stacking, and multiple ways of bracketing, including bracketing art filters, which when you're starting out, I recommend you bracket your art filters to see how the art filters affect various scenes and the response in color for the different art filters. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you can go to my Flickr or Instagram or Flickr page, and I can show you a couple. Like this is the soft focus art filter. Basically straight out of camera. I didn't do any editing to this. This is straight out of camera, and I thought it came out beautifully. And then beyond that, whoops, I'm sorry. I'm not showing you my Flickr. This image here, I was showing this image. This image here, straight out of camera, soft focus art filter. I thought it came out beautiful. And then of course, all the birding, wildlife, macro, high-res shot mode, like this is a high-res shot mode. You do end up using, or you will end up using a lot of the computational features. They are not just gimmicks. They're very practical and work really, really well. Here's another high-res shot mode. And then of course some macro shots. So I'll just expand on one more thing. I don't want to make this all about OM systems today, but the lens selection is also vast, you know, any kind of photography that you want to do, super wide angle to super telephoto, and a really good range. One of my favorite lenses on the budget side is the 40 to 150 f4 to 5.6. If you don't need weather sealing, this is the lens that you should get after the kit lens. Like this will come with a 12 to 45 f4 Pro, which is awesome. This is the next lens you should get, in my opinion, even before prime, because the 12 to 45 is effectively, you got all the primes you need between 12 millimeter and 45 millimeter. This 40 to 150, and double all the numbers I'm saying if you think in 35 millimeter equivalents like full frame. You know, this gives me 80 to 300 if I want to say it in full frame terms. But you know, I'll show you a picture I just took day before yesterday. Let me go to my Flickr page with this lens. This one here is just amazing. 40 to 150 kit lens with the OM3, and you can see, you know, this is your typical can shot. You can count every rivet in the paneling here. It's just amazing. You know, when you do air shows and things like that, at least here in the US, you know, it's mostly about the acrobatics and everything. But you know, I'm just thrilled with this lens, and it's the only, you know, if I don't really care about weather sealing, but if you do, then the 40 to 150 f4 Pro lens is the way to go. It's a little bigger and heavier, but it is an excellent lens, sharper and constant f4. These are just, this is with the 300. This is with the 300. Let's see. But if you look at this picture, for example, this is a $3,000 lens versus a $150 lens. And for shots like this, you know, I needed the reach. That's why I went with the 300. But in terms of image quality, it's virtually indistinguishable in shots like this. Now, I'm not going to pretend that the 40 to 150 can do what the 300 does, but that 40 to 150 carried me for many, many years, and it's still one of my favorite lenses in the lineup. So you have a vast lens selection that's very affordable. You know, they have their 25, the 17, the 40 to 150, and if you particularly if you go on the used market, you can get all three of those for under $1,000, right? And you're pretty much set up for everything. But and of course, the 60 macro lens is pretty awesome. Let's see, you know, like this is the 60 millimeter macro lens on my OM3, and the detail is just amazing that you get out of this lens. So when you get into the, I did it again, I'm not showing any of the pictures. This was the 300 f4, and as I was saying, in shots like this, it's very hard to distinguish this $3,000 lens and $170 lens. So here's another one I took with the this one of my favorite shots from the day with the 40 to 150. You know, just amazing what you can do with this lens. So the entire ecosystem in the OM systems, between the lenses and the cameras that you can get, and then all the accessories that are available by third party, like flashes and tripods and everything like that. It's just, it's a complete flushed out system that you don't have to spend a ton of money to do just about any kind of photography that you want to do. You know, like the 60 macro lens is on sale for, I don't know, $400 or $450, something like that. You know, if you look at macro lenses from other camera systems to get the same field of view, like the 90 macros and the 100 millimeter macros, they're going to cost you double that to get the kind of quality that you get out of the 60 millimeter macro from OM systems. So you know, okay, so that's the OM system cameras. There's one more here, the OM5. I'm sorry for scrolling here on screen. There's two OM5 cameras here on sale. The one that comes with the 14-150 kit lens, and then one without, body only. And you can get them in black or silver, any combination you want. I generally recommend the black for the OM5 because it is a plastic camera, so the silver does tend to chip over time, and I just don't think it looks as good once it gets older. But the black one will always stay looking virtually brand new because the plastic is black all the way through. And this is also a phenomenal camera. Even though it doesn't have the latest subject detect autofocus, it still performs extremely well. Face detect, it does have face detect, but just not like bird and planes. But the face detect is awesome in this. It's very fast, responsive, especially with the pro lenses like the 12-45. I'm showing the kit here with the 14-150. If you're on a little tighter budget, this is an excellent deal. You're getting basically a $600 lens for only $220 more. So if you don't have any camera or any lenses now, this is an excellent place to start, a very, very good price. And then of course if you already have lenses, just get the black one here, and then use the lenses you have. Very, very compact, small camera that does just about everything. And of course the image quality is excellent. So those are basically the three choices from OM Systems. Of the three, just pick the one that suits your what you think your photographic needs or priorities are. If you prioritize size and weight, the OM5 is an awesome choice with very few compromises. It still has all of the computational features of the other cameras, high-res shot mode, focus stacking, live ND. So there's very, very few compromises, and it's a very small, compact, lightweight camera. If you like a little style, the OM3, a little vintage flair. The OM3 is awesome with again, very few compromises other than the single card SD slot and the lower res EVF, but it's fine, I don't miss the high res EVF in my OM1 when I'm out shooting. It's not that important. But then, of course, if you want the very best camera that I think has ever been made, the OM1 Mark II. Okay, so let me just check the chat section real quick. Okay, lots of good comments from my viewers here. So, because they have a lot of experience with these cameras as well. So if you're new to OM Systems, I highly recommend, just checking out the chat section and the feedback from the viewers as well. Don't just take my word for it, because I have a lot of regular viewers that come back to my live streams week after week, and they will attest to the system. Take it with a grain of salt in the sense that we're all big fans of OM Systems, but keep in mind that a lot of my viewers have been professional photographers at much higher levels than myself and still chose OM Systems as their camera of choice. I give a lot of credit to my viewers for teaching me things about the OM system and also validating my choices in photography. So there's that. But okay, so let's get into some of the other deals here. And I didn't get a chance to organize these as much as I wanted because I just picked a lot of these this morning when I got up. But here's a great little I think this is the 9-liter sling bag. And what I like about this is it has the foldable dividers, which are really awesome and very flexible in organizing your camera gear depending on how you're going to go out. I have a similar one here. This is a K&F version, but this is like a smaller 6-liter bag, but it has the same dividers inside, and you can just kind of fold these down and adjust these as needed. And I found that to be very, very useful. And so this is a larger bag, so if you like to carry a lot of stuff, you're kind of the photographer, want to bring everything with you because you don't want to miss any opportunities, I would recommend this bag, and it's a really good deal at $30. Ulanzi makes great gear for for photography, not just bags, but tripods and other things. And this looks like a great bag. Lots of pockets. It's going to be well made, and the flexibility of these dividers just make it even more attractive if you're going to be looking for a sling bag, a quality sling bag for $30. I love these little pockets for the batteries down here. Everything looks to be cross-stitched and really well made inside. So I think this is a great deal. And then let's continue with a couple other bags I'll recommend that are even cheaper, that are really good. This bag, this is very unusual. I don't see hard shell sling bags very often. This is closer to a 6-liter size. It's a little smaller than the last bag. And it doesn't have those fancy dividers, but it has lots of pockets, and also, the zipper goes all the way down the side, so it opens up full, so it's easier access to your gear. The front pocket, but the top pocket, you'll notice that it only zips down about halfway down the sides. And you find sling bags usually in, I'm not showing it. I keep forgetting to switch screens. Was I even showing, did I even show this one? This bag here, the Ulanzi, with the divider. Okay. This is a great bag. Okay, I just talked about that without showing it, but just think about everything I said, and this is the bag. And of course, everything can be found on my link, robtrek.com/deals. That'll take you to this page where I put everything here. Okay, and of course I'm an affiliate, so I will earn commission on any purchases here. But that's why we're here, to find good deals. So let me talk about this hard shell real quick. Now this has been on sale for a couple of weeks, and this is what I mean about, and this is what I've said about Prime Day. A lot of times Prime Day, the deals, I find deals that even on Prime Day you can't get a better deal. And that's why I do these every week, because you don't have to wait for Prime Day all the time to get the best deal. Prime Day is really good if you like to buy Amazon products, like I'll show you a couple later. The Blink Amazon, the Blink camera systems, the Ring camera systems usually go on sale on Prime Day. But anyhow, this sling bag, a little smaller bag than the previous one. It's rare to find a hard shell sling bag, and especially a sling bag at this price point, that has all of these features. And this is typical size that I bring with me. Like I was just showing you my I have the K&F here, this size bag, this size. So this is roughly the size, but I can hold my OM3 in here with an IT32 flash, 3 lenses, and spare batteries and all kinds of stuff. No problem in this bag. And you'll be able to do that with the bag that I'm showing you here now. But I paid like $25 for my bag. This one is only $15. So, and there's tripod straps on the bottom. I don't use those too often, once in a while. But you can fit a small tripod in there. Okay. And then a great deal on backpacks. Let me see if I have any other bags here. This is a little bit bigger than the hard shell. It's also probably still considered a 6-liter bag, but it's a little different format, where this has a flap that opens up completely. And this is also really well made. what I like about this bag, say, over the one that we just looked at, or more like the K&F bag that I showed you that I actually own, is this has a little bit better rigidity, right? So that it, in practice, when the bag has good rigidity, it's easier to get things in and out of it. And the fact that this flap opens up completely to give you access to everything, like they're showing down here, again, just makes getting things in and out a breeze. And then of course it has lots of pockets and you know, places to put things. This also has a really interesting divider. It's not the same as the one before, but it's similar in the sense that it does have one where it has like a layered divider so that it's easy to stack lenses, because our Micro Four Thirds are small lenses. You know, you could put the 25 and the 45 prime right in this divider number 2, and then in divider 1 you would put your camera and 40 to 150 in there. So very, very versatile bag in that sense. And they have them in different colors here for like $1 or $2 more. But you know, just the green is kind of nice. It's a little bit different. And Mosisu is also a very popular camera brand, or brand for camera bags. And this is also a similar size bag, but this is one where the zippers open up all the way down the sides. So there's kind of some pros and cons to this style bag. The pro would be, you know, you get easier access to your gear. The con really is that you can't really leave it open while you're out in the field, because stuff is going to fall out. So you can zipper it half closed and go around that way. But the intent of this bag is to unzip it completely to get access to your gear. So it's, you know, I don't know why I mentioned it, because it's kind of minor. But this also has the stack divider split here. Like they actually show it here with 2 lenses, which makes sense, right? That's how you would use this. But that's a good choice for 14. So maybe you like this style a little more than this one. And then a couple of good backpacks here, 35 and 43. These have been on sale a while, so I've already talked about these in previous streams. Hardshell backpack, perfect size for our Micro Four Thirds gear. It's not too big. It's not going to be heavy. Lots of dividers. This is a new brand, Lovebook, whatever. Sometimes the names of these brands are crazy. But this is a great looking bag too. Just to get you started, if you're more of a backpack person, and it does come with dividers and things. Oh, wait. This does not. This is the bag where you would, yeah, I talked about this. This is the bag where it's just for travel. All right, my mistake. Okay, so bags and backpacks, of all the ones that are here, this is going to probably be the best quality bag and the most versatile, but it is a little bit larger. And then this hard shell bag for $15, this is probably your best bet, right? It's going to give you plenty of capacity and really good protection because it is a hard shell. And then there's those couple other styles at about the same price point. All right, another thing that's really important are like these chargers, right? We got to charge everything. And this charger, I love this charger. I've bought a couple of these, and I paid more than that for these, because when this was released, the retail price was $250. So when I bought it for like 120, I thought I was getting a good deal. But now it's even better deal here. So definitely I can recommend this as a desktop power strip for all your USB-C stuff. And it'll also power all your laptops if you want. But I use it primarily to charge, you know, my cameras, you know, when I want to charge the cameras directly, like my Deluxe 8 and my LX100, I don't like to take the batteries out. In those cameras, I'd rather just charge them directly because usually I offload the photos from the camera that way as well. Okay, and then portable power banks. We have this one here from Anker. Anker is, you know, a top tier power bank, you know, supplier, right? And this one has two USB-C cables built in, plus a couple of ports so that you can plug in directly if you want. But it's nice to be able to go out without having to worry about, did I bring a cable? I can't tell you how many times I've gone out and I said, oh, I forgot to bring a cable. So this has the cables built in. But another really good power bank, it's all the way down here at the bottom, is from Ugreen. Ugreen is also a top tier supplier for power banks. So it's about $17 less. Gives you basically the same amount of power, but this doesn't have the power cords built in. So you will need to remember to bring your cables. And this is something that I use myself, you know, all the time. This thing is great. So I highly recommend getting a power bank. Just bring it with you on any trips so you can charge things in between locations or on location. You can keep things charged and fresh. And then some other accessories here as well that you can check out. And then this one here, if you don't want to get too fancy, but you still want the capacity, this is a great portable bank. I like the slimmer profile of this. It makes it easier to carry. I like the slimmer, I'm going to stop switching between screens. I like the slimmer profile of this one. I was showing off this, let me just back up. This is the worst live stream ever. This is a great power bank for $74. It's also near the bottom of my page. This is the one from Anker. Comes with its own cables. And then this is the desktop one that I was talking about that I really like. This one here, if you don't want to spend, you know, $90, $75, you can get this one for $47. And it has the cable built in, has plenty of capacity at 20,000 milliamps. And the 87 watts is more than enough for most things. And I like the slim profile because it makes it easy to carry even in the sling bags like we were looking at. You know, power banks are just invaluable, just a core necessity for any photographer. And let's see. There's a few lenses here for Fujifilm that are all really good. This is a very compact pancake lens, 28 millimeter. The f4.5 aperture is a little bit small, but it's okay. For most things, this lens, you know, if you're at 28 millimeters and f4.5, it's fixed. This is a great street lens. And if you put this on your X-T50 or X-T30, you have a very portable setup, as small as any compact camera out there. And it's a great focal length, gives you a standard focal length closer to, what would that be? Plus like 42 millimeters, give or take. So it's an excellent focal range or field of view for street photography. So if you want, and autofocus is just fine. This is a lens I tested and I have a review on, and it's very sharp. Really, I have no issues with this lens at all, other than that it's a fixed aperture. So you do have to sort of watch your shutter speed, right? With this one. Okay, and then these are also great lenses from Viltrox. You know, Viltrox, these lenses don't go on sale quite as often. When you look at the price history, you can see if we go to a 3-month or a 1 year, you can see they do go on sale time to time, but this is a Prime Day sale. This is a Prime Day sale. This was a prime week sale. I know somewhere in this time we had sort of a prime day, but this is the only time this lens goes on sale. It's during prime days, prime weeks, whatever they want to call it. And the 56 is a great portrait lens for the Fujifilm system. They have the other lenses all down here. The 15 is a great, you know, all-purpose wide-angle lens. And you know, let's see, the other one I like is the 9mm. Really nice wide angle, and these are all pretty fast, right? f1.7s, f2.8. They also have some f1.2s in there if you really want super low light capability. Like the 56 1.2 is an amazing portrait lens, you know, for low light to get that nice creamy bokeh, and you know, the reviews on these lenses have all been stellar. So you can buy with a very high level of confidence that these lenses are going to perform. They're going to give you beautiful images, and optically they're close to perfect as you can get without spending 3 or 4 times as much money. So this is the day, or the next few days, this is the time to get a Viltrox lens. If you've been looking at a Viltrox lens, this is the time to get it. This lens normally sells for $99 all day long. Let's see if this 79 price is kind of the new. No, if you look at the 3-month history, you can see this price is $99 all day long. So it's only going to go on sale on prime days like today. So if you have a Fujifilm camera, and I think they make these for the Sony APS-Cs, but primarily I've seen these for Fujifilm. This is the time to get the Viltrox lenses. Okay, and then flashes. These are the flashes that I use on a regular basis. The Godox 8200, the Pro 2. These don't go on sale very often because they don't really need to. So anytime you get any kind of discount, even 8%, this is a flash you're going to use all the time. If you're an outdoor photographer. Indoors is probably a little bit of overkill, to be honest. But it does have some, but the way this comes, that it's coming with the gel set for colors, it comes with the reflector dome, comes with the grid and barn doors. You know, these accessories are very, very useful indoor in a studio. And the fact that it's modular and you can just snap these, you know, magnetically, or not magnetically, but just put these on and off very easily, makes this a really versatile flash in the studio. And if you have a larger studio, I would recommend the 8200 for all of that. But another good choice for less, just a little bit less, well, in this case, it's almost $100 less, but it's not coming with any of the accessories. When you add those back in, it kind of gets, it closes the gap a little bit. This is another flash that doesn't go on sale a whole lot. For all intents and purposes, this will give you the same light output as the 8200, even though it's rated at half the power. This is 100 watts. The other one is 200 watts. In practice, in a studio, this is perfectly fine. Even larger studios, you can get away with this. The trick with this one is you have to buy all the accessories separate. But if you already have, you know, like an S2 bracket, or you just use umbrellas, you know, the S2 bracket, and they now have the S3, lets you attach standard Bones mount adapters. This is an awesome flash because it's so portable. And then for on-camera flash, the IT32 is awesome. Again, you know, these don't go on sale very often, but when they do, this is the time to get it. What I like about this is that you can use this off camera as well. So this is great for macro photography, close-up photography like flowers and other small objects. You know, being able to pull this off camera quickly, it's just magnetically mounted. Like I was testing out this flash on my Deluxe 8. You know, this flash pops off and then you can use it off camera. So, you know, if you're outdoors and you want to hold it up higher to get a little better side lighting, if you're doing portraits, or if you're doing a flower and you're doing close-up photography, you can kind of get in there and get some nice side lighting. This is a hard to beat in terms of versatility. Doesn't have a lot of power because it's a small flash, but more than enough power to add fill light outdoors, even in bright sunlight, just as a fill light. It'd be hard to use it as a key light, but as a fill light outdoors, or you could use it as a key light in shade and sunny, cloudy days, and certainly as a key light for close-up photography because the light's going to be very, very close to your subject. And it's actually a nice pairing with this, with like an LX100, a Deluxe 8, or maybe an L10 that's come out, and other small cameras like the Sony a6700. This is an awesome flash that doesn't take up any room in your bag, has a ton of versatility. Of course, the head rotates, and tilts and all of that too. But I use this a lot in my macro photography, together with a diffuser. Sometimes I don't use the diffuser. It works fine without, diffusing the light. Like for insects and things, you don't really need to use the diffuser so much. But I use it this way a lot, and it's great for focus stacking and bracketing, and has really good recycle times, good battery life. And again, you can use this flash like all the Godox X Trigger on-camera flashes. You can control other off-camera flashes with this. And I have a couple of videos on how to do that specifically with this flash, and of course some of the other flashes in the Godox system like the V1. But I'll show you my typical setup. This is my work bag, right, that I take to go to work. And if you look inside, this is what I have. I have my 8200 here. I have my V480 that I use on camera for additional light and as a radio trigger to control the 8200. And we'll talk about the V480 next. And then of course 8100 as well. So what I'll do, like in my commercial photography, is a lot of times I'll hand hold the 8200 most of the time, but time to time I need to have additional light further back, right? Because of the inverse square law, I have to, add light at further distance. Because a lot of times I'm photographing very large rooms in commercial property, and so I'll set the 8100 in the back, and I'll hand hold the 8200. Then I'll have the V480 on camera to control the other two, as well as provide additional lighting in different angles. So it's, if you're a professional photographer, the V480 or the IT32 and the 8100 and the 8200 Pro, if you get those, you'll be able to handle just about any situation you're going to run into. Because you can use the smallest flash, whether it's the IT32 or the V480 as a fill light. You can use the 8100 or 8200 as a key light, and then the 8100 as rim lighting or backlighting. If you're thinking about portraits, if you're doing more commercial type stuff, it's great for large rooms, right? I've done that many times at events where I have a very large room and I'll set up a couple of 8100s in the corners, and I'll handhold or set up an 8200 as my key light, and then I'll use a V480 on camera as additional fill light and or as the radio trigger to control all of the other lights. So, and that's what I love about the Godox system and we'll look at the V480. This is also on sale. This goes on sale time to time, but not very often. At $149, this is an awesome deal. So let me show you the V480 real quick. The V480 is, I think, if you're going to be doing a lot of macro photography like focus stacking and bracketing, I would recommend the V480 over the IT32 because of the extra battery life, the faster and more stable recharge times, right? Because in focus stacking and bracketing, you're firing like 15 to 20, 30, 40 flashes at a time. This is going to go churn through those a lot faster, and because of the recycle time. Also, this has a modeling lamp here, so that it helps illuminate the subject, because a lot of times when you're doing close-up and macro work, there's not enough light to see the subject for your camera to autofocus. So it works great as an autofocus assist lamp, in my opinion. That's how I use it mostly, is so I can see the subject and use it as autofocus assist. And lithium-ion battery, touchscreen on the back. This is not too much bigger. Well, it is. It is bigger than the IT32, but it's smaller than their full-size V1. So going forward, I'm really only recommending the V480. The V1s, you know, the larger round head flashes, are great, and I think are fine for on-camera studio work, but for all intents and purposes, for most of us, this is going to be the better choice because it's smaller, has nearly as much light output, and has the versatility of the modeling lamp. So, and it's cheaper, right? This is $149 versus say $200 and up for the V1s, because they got the V1, the V1 Pro, the V100. You know, they have a lineup. But this will get you through probably 99% of everything you need for an on-camera flash. And of course, I use it mostly on camera as additional fill light and to control all of my other off-camera flashes. So you don't necessarily need to buy a trigger if you buy this first. And then one last flash from Godox that doesn't go on sale very often is this one, the Flashpoint Luxmaster Pro. This is an awesome flash. This is an awesome flash to use at events, because I've said this many times. When you're out doing photography, and at an event, most of the time they're expecting you to be there. But this really makes things so much more fun, where people see you with this giant, I haven't gotten good at spreading this out. You get a feel for it after a while. I just haven't used this in, gosh, not since Christmas, actually. But there we go. Anyhow, so I'll just mount this with my camera like this, and I won't use this. I'll probably use like an X. You'll need to use an X3 or a sync cord. But this is how I go out when I do events. And not only is it kind of cool and people are like excited to get their picture taken when they see you like this, and their smiles are even a little more natural because just it's so retro cool. It really makes beautiful light. I don't know what it is about this dish, but it's really, really, really nice light too. And having a grip like this when you're doing event photography makes a huge difference in handling, you know, because now you're holding the camera with two hands most of the time, which you always should do. But this is very, very comfortable to hold two-handed versus, you know, typically, you know, two-handed camera work, you're holding it like this, and this is fine, but at an event, this makes a world of difference in handling the camera when you're out there. So I would recommend this flash if you'd like to do event photography. This made probably the biggest difference in my event photography when I'm interacting with people than any other flash that I use. Because people see you with a big giant flash at events anyway. Maybe it's like one of these or V1, but when you have this one, they just smile a little bit more, if that makes sense. And it's a great flash, plenty of power. And sometimes I'll bounce it up like this, you know, because like I said, it has enough power to reflect the light back off a ceiling, so you get really nice soft lighting. But it's a terrific flash. Okay, and then Let's see, there are... Well, I've never seen this deal ever. If you know, I use the Ring camera system, which is also owned by Amazon, but Amazon owns the Blink camera system. This is their brand. This is kind of the budget option. You can get 5 cameras and a doorbell for $104. A single Ring camera costs more than that, okay? So, subscription is not required, but it's basically $100 a year if you want to get a subscription. You can put a memory card in each camera, and you don't need to subscribe if you want to stream your, you know, record your camera, what the camera sees. But, or you can just get a subscription, then you get cloud recording and all of that. The Ring camera system is a much more advanced system, but I think, you know, but yeah, you're going to be out. God, I spent probably $800 or $900 for my Ring camera system, and it is the better system, but for all intents and purposes, you know, for $100 to get 5 cameras and a doorbell, if I had to do it over again, I would have got this system. I would have definitely got this instead, because it's so much more affordable, and it does probably 90% of what the Ring camera system does. But if you want that extra 10%, you know, because Ring camera has much more advanced features, you can go that route, but you're going to pay for it. With the Ring camera system, 5 cameras for $100. I just, if I didn't already invest in Ring, I would definitely get this. Okay, and the last thing, well, let's talk about this one oddball sort of outlier. It's on sale now for $251. It's typically about $10 or $15 more than this, so this is not a particularly special deal, but it never goes on sale. It's always at like the $265 or $269 price. So basically this is an infrared camera, right? And I bought it. It's really neat to use in your house to find, you know, leaks, you know, around your doors and windows, or to analyze, you know, your HVAC system and the insulation in your house. You know, you can, there's a million videos on how to use an infrared camera. My intent was to try to use it to find smaller birds in a tree, right? And for that, it's tough. I would use this. I wouldn't use it for like the smaller birds in a tree. It's almost impossible to see them, because you can adjust the sensitivity and stuff, but I wish I wasn't able to get it to record onto my phone. I think that's my phone issue. But it's hard to see the small red dots in the trees, because there's a lot of little red dots that are not birds. And I adjust the sensitivity, but then it's just hard with small birds. This infrared camera, if you want to use it for birding, I would think would work really well with like larger birds, like an owl sitting in a tree somewhere. So let's say you can hear the owl and you kind of know the general direction, but you're having a hard time finding it because, you know, owls are naturally camouflaged. This would be awesome for that, but not so much for small birds and small animals. Larger animals at night, awesome. I could see deer walking around in my backyard behind the trees. No problem with this thing. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, so this is a really cool thing, and it was a lot of fun to use in my house, because I was finding devices that were turned on that I didn't realize were on, because there would be a little red glow around some device. Like I had a DVD player. I haven't used that thing in over a year, and it's been on the whole time, just draining electric, you know, on my electric bill. Okay, memory cards. You know, what I'm trying to find are memory cards that are old stock, still at the older price. all of these memory cards, once they're sold out, if they come back in stock, they're going to be at a much higher price. And if you've been watching my shopping streams for the past week or past month, you've missed out on some great deals because they came back into stock, but they were 3 times the price. Like I bought some 128 gig V60 cards for $49. They're not that anymore. It was by Digiera. Let's see if they even have it. They would be the 170 megabit cards. Or the 300. Yeah, it's not even available. Well, here's one. What's this? This is a 128 V90. Fair deal. That's a pretty good deal, actually. I should add that to my thing. That's a pretty good deal. A pair of 256 V90s for $199. That's a good deal. But once these go out of stock, they're not going to come back in at this price. And you know, and this has a lot of good reviews, right? But my point here is that you know, if you need a memory card, I would only get these cards, because if you try to buy another brand name card like Lexar or you know SanDisk, some of the top brands, they're going to cost a lot more. And like I said, PNY, Digiera, the Oracle, the ProMaster, the Kingston's. Kingston is almost I would consider this a top brand like SanDisk. These cards, all of these cards here at the top, I guarantee were manufactured by the memory part itself was manufactured by the same company, or one of the 3 to 5 top tier companies like Samsung and Micron. They, you know, there's only a few SD card manufacturers for memory, and these are all top tier manufactured memory cards. And then there's a second layer where you have the top tier manufacturing process where they package it with the controller. I don't want to get too technical, but bottom line is these are all really good cards and going to be very reliable. I haven't had any issues with any of these brands, and I own them all. And like I said, this 128 gig V90 card, this is the price I paid a few years ago. But I guarantee once this goes out of stock, that's it. This is a V90. Now, if you need a V90, you'll know you need a V90. But for most people, the V60 card is going to be more than fast enough for sports action wildlife. If you're not a sports action wildlife photographer where you're doing continuous shutter all the time, a V30 card is going to be perfectly fine. So go for one of these V30 cards right up here. You know, if you're a little bit brand, you know, weary, then PNY, no problem. You're going to pay $10 more than the Digiera, but you know you're getting a top tier brand, in my opinion. But I think these two brands, ProMaster and Digiera, are just as good as the PNYs, and a really good deal. For the V60 cards, again, I would probably go, I don't see this Kingston V60 for 128 gig. This is a good deal. You got to add $5 for delivery. These are just getting harder and harder to come by. Here's a this is you know, here's a Lexar Armor for $94. This is a pretty good deal. Let me add this. Like I said, I only had a couple hours this morning to find these deals, but I'll add this. This looks like an excellent deal. Let's see, and then yeah, some memory card storage holders. Here's a micro SD. This is a really good deal for 256 gig micro SD. Silicon Power is a good brand. Again, they're manufactured by a top-tier manufacturing company for the memory, and then a top-tier manufacturing for the packaging and branding. There's 2 steps there. You don't need to worry about reliability and quality. See, this got a 4.6 star rating, so that'll tell you. Okay, and then a couple of filters that are still on sale from before. 72 millimeter ring thread for a circular polarizer and a diffusion filter. Excellent for portrait work and also night street photography. And then, of course, the polarizer is good for the reducing reflections. I use that all the time in my photography, getting deeper, richer blue skies. Every photographer needs to have a polarizer. And then ND filters. This is the 62 millimeter filter threads on sale. This will fit the 12 to 40 f2.8 Pro lens and several other lenses, of course, that have the 62 millimeter filter thread. Solid ND filters are essential. Even if we have the built-in ND filters, it's not enough for broad daylight, long exposure. So I highly recommend ND filters for all your photography, long exposure photography. Solid ND filters in general are better than the variable NDs to give you more accurate color. But I didn't find particularly any good deals on variable ND filters. Let's see, and that about sums it up. A lot of these, I mean, I didn't talk about tripods. This is still an amazing deal for a carbon fiber tripod of this quality. $128. You're going to spend $50 to $100 more to get the same quality as this tripod for carbon fiber. Excellent ball head, low profile, weave carbon fiber, 10 layer for really good rigidity, and the no center column, or it has the triangulated center column, so it compacts down very small, and it makes it easy to carry and travel with. So I highly recommend this tripod. And then I think budget tripod, $20. I have a version of this. I don't know why this is $20. This should be like about a $35 to $40 tripod, but for $20 you can do a lot worse for $20 when it comes to tripods. It has a nice metal ball head, metal legs, twist lock, and the ball head is decent. Okay, it's very smooth. This is the kind of tripod you keep in your car as a backup. If you already have your really good tripod, for $20 you can have a nice little backup for times when I don't think I'll need a tripod, so you don't bring your good one, but then you get on site and you're like, you know what, I wish I brought my tripod, but then you have this one in the car, so you can kind of get away. Or if you're just starting out, tripod is an essential item, and this is a way to get a good tripod without spending a lot of money. And you'll really appreciate having a tripod for lots of different types of photography, landscape and long exposure. So if you buy the ND filters, you should buy this tripod together with it. Okay, there's a good Sure tripod, carbon fiber, very, very compact, $100. And some more filters down here that you can check out. Here's a 58 millimeter filter kit that $12. So you're getting a solid ND filter, an ND8, a circular polarizer, and a UV filter, which has very limited use, but also the case with it for $12. Really, really good deal. And then there's some other sizes down here at similar price points that you can get. You really don't need to spend a lot of money on filters, unless, I think, if you do a lot of shooting into direct sunlight, that's another thing. Then you might want to consider a higher end filter, because you can get ghosting and reflections with these cheap filters, right? when you're shooting in direct sunlight, but that's rarely the case. Rarely am I shooting directly into the sun. A lot of times the sun can be in the frame and not cause any problems, but sometimes it can, right? And a higher end filter will mitigate that problem quite a bit. But I would say 80–90% of the time, ghosting and flaring is not an issue with these cheap filters. Okay, that's pretty much all the new stuff and a few of the older things I wanted to talk about. I went a little more in depth on cameras today because I think over and over again of all the camera systems I've used, I still come back to my OM system cameras, and that's why it's more than just being a fanboy of the camera system and buying whatever comes out. I don't buy every camera that comes out by OM system, right? Because they're not a good fit for me. It's about what do I actually pick up and go out into the field and know I can do with that camera. The computational features are not gimmicks. Okay, they're really, really useful. The art filters are just fun. Some people call them a gimmick, but they can be fun time to time. I use them on a regular basis. All right, so let me go to the chat section and see what's going on in here. Yeah, Peter says the 40 to 150. Oh yeah, so extension tubes. It is pretty awesome. Whoops, where's my let me see if I can get my chat thing to work. There it goes. So the 40 to 150 with extension tubes. So in lieu of doing buying a macro lens, which is $400 or $500, right? You can get a diopter, and you can get. Let's look at the extension tubes. I think I have those on my other page under Micro Four Thirds. I'll add them to my main page, but probably way down here because these are good. This is the pair that I own. They're on sale. That's a good deal, $27. That's about what I paid for mine, I think, when I got them. But you put these extension tubes on a 40 to 150, and you can get very, very close. I calculated the magnification one time. It's not quite 1 to 1, but it's pretty good. It's like 0.5 to 1. And that's awesome for doing flowers and larger bugs like a bumblebee or honeybees. That size insect, the 40 to 150 with extension tubes, no problem. You really only need to get higher magnification if you're doing smaller like jumping spiders and things like that. But for a lot of close-up and macro photography, you can get away with the 40 to 150 and extension tubes. And then I was just showing this diopter. This diopter just snaps onto the front of just about any lens, but it works really well with the 40 to 150. It works well with the 12 to 40 and the 12 to 45 f4 Pro. I use this a lot on my 12 to 45 f4, for getting really close and doing some additional magnification. I also use this on my macro lens, my 60 macro, and I get a 1.5x magnification instead of a 1x, because right now the 60 macro by default is 1 to 1. With this, it is about 1.5 to 1, so an additional 50% magnification with no loss in quality. This thing is amazing. The images are very, very sharp. So this is on my deal page, robtrek.com/deals. So definitely I would consider this together with the extension tubes, and you can get really, really close-up macro. This is one of the diffusers that I recommend. This one is always in stock. The one that I use is further down. this one, but this one doesn't come in stock very often. Why does it say high price? They don't even have it here. Well, they have one right here for $10. That's not a high price. $10 is the going price. That's what I paid for it. But I like this because it has sort of the more flexible hole here so that you can fit multiple different size lenses, and it's a little bit more secure. The other one I showed you up here, it's basically $3 less. Effectively, it gives you the same light, but you can see the hole here is a little bit bigger. It's still elastic, but it's not quite as secure. So to me, it's worth it to spend the $3 extra to get the other one. But, you know, this one works just as well. Gosh, I keep doing that. Let me see if this chat window works. No, not really. I don't know why my chat window over here doesn't work well. Oh, the half leather case, yep, for $9 or $12. Yep, those are nice. And Eric is here. Good to see you. And good morning, ATR Bear. And you're done with Donkey. Hate their clips. Okay, I'm not familiar with. I know this is the brand. It's a really high-end camera bag, but I've never used them. Yeah, there's a lot of good bags for way less. And used the hand warmer you got from me a couple of months ago to charge my phone. Was impressed how well it did. Yep. When it gets closer to wintertime, I'll talk about hand warmers. But right now, it's just too hot. We need hand coolers, if anything. I'm about to shoot an event, but only do portrait-like shots. I just want people headshots. Maybe use the Fujis. Yep, if you get that 56 1.7 for your Fujifilm, that's an awesome portrait lens. And Ethan says, will that flashback work with old film cameras? Ooh, I kind of lost track. Yeah, the Luxmaster, yes. So the Luxmaster has a PC sync port. You know, right here. There's a little hole here, 2.5 millimeter PC sync port. So yes, I have used this on my Hasselblad, which of course is an old camera, and it did work. It did fire. So that's the good news. And Topdon has also gone on sale in the UK for $366. Okay, good to know. Thank you. So Paul, yeah, I think you were telling me you wanted to use it to try to find owls. I think it'll work well for that. I don't have any owls around here, or none that I could find, or you know, even here. But you know, for larger animals, it seems to be fine. But the little tiny ones, oh, 266, okay. The smaller ones, yeah, not much use. Like I was trying to track some squirrels, and they're really, squirrels are bigger than even the smaller birds, right? And even those were kind of hard to see. Do I know anything about the Zenico RFM12 flash? No TT. Oh yeah, I've seen that. Let me take a quick look at it. Zenico RF12M. All right, so this flash, you know, this is just a standard, I hate to call it dumb trigger, but it's not TTL. But it does have a slave. And let me just look at the, I haven't used this, but it has, I need to see, did they give the power output at all? It has so it has a lithium ion in it. So it's going to have good recycle time, 2.5 seconds. That's fair. It's not very good. But they don't really tell you. 2990 grams. They just tell you 6 levels of range. but they don't give you the actual power output. Maybe down here. I would, what, they're asking what, 40 bucks for this thing? I think a better deal. Obviously, the IT32 would be way better than that flash, but it's double the price, right? If you want that flexibility, because I assume you want that rotating head and everything too. Let me see if there's anything here comparable. The only thing that concerns me about the flash is they're not telling you the power output. It's hard to gauge from just the fact that it has a 2.5 second recycle time. Because what I'm afraid of is that, like this is probably the same thing. Let's see if they give you the power. They don't really tell you. So where's the Zenico? 600. It looks okay. But it's not going to have a lot of power. So my concern with this flash is if it depends on your application. I think for just like indoors and small rooms, this flash will be fine. But it's not gonna work too well bouncing off a ceiling. It's just not gonna have enough power output as far as I can tell. And it's not anything near like the V1 mid. The V1 mid is a much more powerful flash than this one, I guarantee you. Because if it had a decent power output, it's saying RF12 is the model number, so that might mean it has like a guide number of 12. It's kind of implied. That's pretty weak. I mean, that's like any small compact flash, right? So I'm a little weary of this flash. It might be a decent replacement for, say, like the Olympus FLM3 flash, you know, the little small flash that used to come with the cameras. It's probably along the lines of that power output. But yeah, I think at 40 bucks, if you're gonna spend $40, I would spend a little more and get an IT32. You know, just looking at this. I know you're spending double the price, but you're getting probably 5 times the flash. Or another option would be you could buy something like this and then get a riser so it can stand up a little higher. Or the Godox, the one Godox I skipped by. It was right here. This one. This is a pretty awesome flash. So it sits up nice and high and the flash rotates vertically up and down, which is really all you need in a flash with this kind of power output, because it just doesn't have enough power if you're going to bounce it behind you or off a sidewall. you know, these tiny flashes don't have enough power to reflect the light back off the wall, back onto your subject so much. And it barely has enough power to bounce off the ceiling. You know what you see what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of these flashes don't have tilt swivel built into them, because honestly, in practice, they won't have enough power to be used as a bouncing off a ceiling or something. So I would recommend for $5 more, I would get this Godox. Because this one, they don't give you the guide number either, but I know this one is closer to a guide number 15. Oh yeah, they say it right here. This one definitely is going to have some decent power. Guide number 15 is pretty decent. It'll work for a lot of indoor stuff and a tiny bit of outdoor stuff, like in the shade or on a cloudy day. Maybe as a mild, super mild fill light for broad daylight. But anywho, and Paul asked, Rob, what do you think of the SanDisk 256 Ultra? That's pretty good. 4178, that's a good deal. And certainly can be used for audio. Yeah, no problem. But let me see if I can find a better micro SD. I mean, the PNY I have on my page is $50, so it's a little bit more. But let me take a look at. And for audio, you don't really need 256 gig. I think you can get away with 64 gig. Let me just take a quick look. There's a Nextorage. That's a V60. Never heard of them. This is a better deal. This Samsung. I'm going to add this to my deal page. I would get this Samsung over that SanDisk. And then what was the other one I saw? Yeah, there's the two, right? I would definitely get this. Then there's the Gigastones. Team Group is pretty decent, but I would get the Samsung. PNY, I would get the Samsung over the PNY. And yeah, wow. Yeah, the Samsung is pretty awesome deal. It even beats my Silicon Micro here, or Silicon Power chip. Then the Lexars are more. But for audio only, you could probably, I would go with like 128 gig. Audio files are really small. Unless you're doing like 32-bit float. I know those files are bigger, and like the WAV files can be pretty big, but still, I think 256 is a lot. And Paul says, notice that a lot of reviews that say Vine custom review a free product. How much trust can you put in these? A little bit. I mean, they're getting the product free. And I looked at some Vine reviews on products that I've had in the past, And you know, they get the product and they review it like after. I would say they're better than a lot of the individual reviews, even from people that actually purchased it, because they have, depends on the who's reviewing it, but they generally have a, you know, a little more insight in the variety of types of products, right? Because they get a lot of these Vine reviewers, they get a lot of offers to review products. What I think is more important is looking at the bulk of the reviews in bulk. Like if you have a 4-star or better rating on a product and there's hundreds of reviews, right? Then I would put more weight on the overall reviews and star rating versus individual Vine reviews or individual purchased reviews, right? And so, for example, I could see, you know, the Vine reviews might be all 5 stars, but then you look at the real user reviews that purchased it and there's 1, 2, 3 stars there. And the overall review is rated at like 3, right? So you got a 3-star on a product with hundreds of reviews, between 3 and 4. Even if that's when you say, okay, the Vine reviews probably not that credible, right? But if you got 5-star Vine reviews and you got 5-star reviews from people that purchased it, and the overall review, and there's hundreds of reviews, is 4 stars or better, then that's a better, that you can probably take the Vine reviews with a little more credibility and read what they have to say, because they typically go into more detail, because a lot of the reviews are like, you know, from buyers, and they just give it 5 stars and say works great, or they give it 1 star because the shipment arrived late, nothing related to the product itself. So you have to look at the negative reviews with a grain of salt also, because sometimes, you know, people get their stuff late and they give it a 1-star review because it was a day late. So yeah, you really have to take some time and read, taking the balance into account, all of the factors. First, I look at the overall review. It should be 4 stars or better. The higher, the better. And then there needs to be some kind of volume. If there's only like 20 or 30 5-star reviews, a lot of them might be just Vine reviews. Then in that case, they're not going to be quite as credible, or the credibility hasn't been established yet. But once a product has hundreds of reviews at 4 stars or better, then the credibility goes up quite a bit. And then you look at the negative reviews and see what the negative reviews are for. And a lot of them might be because of shipment delays, you know, which I see quite often. But I've gotten so many emails to offer me products from Amazon. You know, could you please leave a review? If you leave a 5-star review, we'll send you like a $10 or $20 coupon to use on anything you want. Like, they incentivize you to give a 5-star review one way or the other. So you have to take some of the Vine reviews from that perspective, but just look at the overall reviews. Having a 4-star overall review with hundreds of reviews weighs more than the individual Vine reviews. You might want to put half your cases on the page. The OM5 ones seem pretty cheap. Oh yeah. I did have one on my page. Let me see. Yeah, I have this. This is on my page. It's about halfway down. $11. There's a blue one for $9. And then, so I have this one. Okay. And then Robert's here. Good to see you. And the Great Vanzini says, I have a little Zeneco flash, all manual, but so far so good. Okay. Yeah, they're small though. They're not very powerful. And Emma says, I found a good deal on an EM1 Mark III for about $560. Okay, trying to find a good deal on memory cards V60. The best I could come up with is $99 for 64 gig. Doesn't seem to be any prime deals on a V60 2-pack. So I do have that on my page. Oh, that's a V30. That's a V90. Yeah, the V60s are getting harder to come by. But you could get a pair of these. But let me just see. You're looking for, I would, yeah, 64 gig is a little bit small. I would go at least 128. Let's see if they have a 2-pack. $80 each. EMTC for 71. The best deal I found was for a 2-pack was actually the Lexar. I wouldn't buy this. So this is a good example, right, of reviews. A 3.3 star and only 57 reviews. I would not buy that card. What the reviews were saying is that you weren't really getting a V60 card. That was the biggest complaint. All right, let's try 64 gig. That just seems too small for me for that camera. Yeah, 99, that's the one you just talked about. This looks pretty good. Oh, but you might as well get the Lexars. You see this deal here, or this card here? I bought this card for like $38 just a few months ago, or back in January, so 6 months ago. It's crazy how much it's gone up. It's 3 times the price now. Yeah, I think that deal, if you want a pair of V60s, that was the best deal. Yeah, avoid this brand here in Indmem. Yeah, that's not getting enough traction on the reviews. Let me look at the 128 real quick. Gigasun's usually a good price, but it's not right now. So, yeah, that seems to be the best deal. 99 bucks for a pair of 64s, V60s. There's not a lot of memory cards on Prime Day because of they don't have to. There's just no supply. That's the problem. And Semian says, I go by bad reviews first. Typically, people are more prone to write a review when they are pissed off with your product. Yes. So the bad reviews, they are, I think, overly representative in a lot of products. You know, if I'm happy with the product, I don't always go back and write a positive review. But if I'm really unhappy, then I'll go in and put a negative review, more likely, right? Because I got to warn other people. So negative reviews tend to have a little more presence. But when you have something rated like a lot of these memory cards, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, like, you know, Lexar, Kingston, OWC, with hundreds of reviews. Well, this one doesn't, 37. This has 1.5 thousand reviews. So, and you can dig in even deeper on reviews. You have to make sure that the 4.8 star rating is for that exact product. Because I've seen where a product will have a 4.8 star, but then somehow they switched the product so that the product being shown is not the product that all the reviews are about. So you have to be careful with that. Oops. And Laura, thank you for the support. I really appreciate that. It's been a while. Gosh, I haven't seen you in a long time, come to think of it. Good to see you again. I see you already have the reboot case. Yep. I love how they only show the front of the card. Yeah, so let's go to this card here, right? Like that has a 3.3. And somewhere along the line, they do show the back of the card. Let's see, it's not here. Sometimes if you go down. But this was the biggest problem is, you know, they call this a V60, but it's not. See, it says V60 here. But then you turn it around, it's not a V60 card if there's only a single row of pins. So that's why this is getting so many bad reviews. And the reviews that are good on this card are people that probably are not as familiar with SD cards and what to look for. So that was my biggest problem with this card and not putting it on my recommendation page, because I saw a lot of reviews like this. It'd be one thing if it said V30 card here and then it's single row, but then they thought they were buying a V60. That's one kind of like redirect, right? Like they'll show their V60 card, but then when you go to purchase it, you know, what you get in the mail is a V30 card. So either that was intentional and they're just hoping you don't return it, or this is a flat out, in this image here, this is flat out fraud in my opinion, because this is not a V60 card and it's labeled a V60 card. So this is not redirection, right? Or honest mistake, if you want to put it nicely, okay? This is flat out fraud in my opinion. So you have to be careful. But even if they show you the back of the card, like this is one that I've bought. If they do, they probably do further down in here. Oh, they don't. Yeah, they don't show the back of the card too often. Because honestly, most people are not, just don't know. Like this is wrong. This is a V90 card, but they're showing a single row of pins. So this in itself would make you think, okay, this is fraud, right? But I ordered this card. Where is it? It was right here. It's not on my camera. It should be in my memory card reader, but it's not. Well, that's 50 bucks I'll never see again. That's really odd. I don't normally misplace my memory cards. Let's see. Did I put it back in here? No. I was going to show you my Digiera card. I don't know where I put it. It should be right here. It's either in my camera or in the memory card reader. I'll find it later. I don't know where it went though. Where else would I take it out and put it? Because I just offloaded because I just took this to the thing, to the air show. and I use this bag. I wouldn't put the memory card back in the bag. That's stupid. Having a brain fart here. Well, I'll show you another one. So this is the other budget card that I bought. The EMTC. I paid $38 for this card. You know, back in January, I guess. But yeah, this is a true V60, and I tested it, and it is V60. It's fast. But I need to find my other card. I'll find that later. But I have the Digiera, and it's legit. It's a V60 with the 2 rows on the back. All right. Go over here. I need to close all these windows before my computer crashes. Okay, any other questions? Huh. Hey Heather, how are you? Good to see you. I'm gonna find, could it be in my pocket? That would be weird. I never put memory cards in my pocket. Yeah, that just makes no sense at all. Beats the heck out of me. Dang it. Oh well. Anyway, all right, guys. So those are the deals for today. I may do another stream tomorrow if something new comes up, but otherwise I'll be back on Friday for my normal photo editing live stream, and then Sunday for my photo chat live stream. So you guys, hopefully you find some good deals today on Prime Day. Using my affiliate links is greatly appreciated and helps support the work that I do here. And I really appreciate those of you that have been doing it in the past. It's really made a big difference in you know, me coming onto the channel and making these streams. So thank you for that and all your support. You guys have a good day. Try to do that every day and you'll have a good life, right? So eat healthy and exercise, and I hope to